Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. A great thanks to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and a special thanks to Apostle Tahar. I'm doing this video right here, right now. And also, thank you to you Archiums that's out there that's pushing this truth and knowledge of the Father, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, as well as those individual Hebrew Israelites that are out there, like myself, and that are pushing this truth and knowledge of the Father, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, okay, and are not allowing these afflictions to prevent us from pushing this truth and knowledge of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. You know, I got low vision blindness, and I'm thankful, and other different afflictions, but I'm very thankful that Yahweh has made a way so that I can be able to push this truth and knowledge of the Father, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Now, talking about, I made this video to talk about the Minnesota 3rd Precinct police fire of that station. This here is a video talking about the different things concerning the fires that took place in the rioting concerning the death of a black man at the hands of white police officers. Okay, and so this video here will be for to just let you know these are the sort of things that are occurring that's going to bring forth martial law, because as the people overrun the police, anytime that the police are overran, automatically National Guards are called in.
We have the chief right now, the Minneapolis Police Chief, John Friedel, joining us right now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Can you hear us, Chief?
Yeah, we got you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Give us an idea. A lot of people are wondering. I don't want to assume it's a safety issue, but let us know why you can't get in there, because I know you guys are trained, and I know it kills you to see the city burning, and you want to be in there.
We're talking about the 3rd Precinct, of course, Chief.
Yeah, I was at a fire earlier, just a few blocks down in the evening, and then we could see from our vantage point that there's a little more action going on up around closer to the 3rd Precinct building. So we've left that first fire we're at. Now we're waiting, and we did attempt to send in what we call a task force response. This is a response that's been modeled for these types of sort of civil unrest type of situations. We send them in a smaller group of firefighters and limit the number of apparatus. We tried to get in there, but the situation was just untenable.
When?
We've had, this was probably an hour and a half ago, I'd say maybe a little more. We tried getting in. I didn't hear the initial response. They tried to get, I knew they were sending them. I didn't have the exact time, but it's probably been an hour and a half ago was the first attempt, and it was untenable in the sense that they made a decision that was untenable, unsafe for the firefighters. We've had
Of course it is.
different type of projectiles thrown at us now the last couple of nights, and it's made it very challenging, and certainly our number one priority is the safety of our firefighters. So when we have the situation where it's unsafe, we're just not going to we're going to make the decision not to enter. We're just going to back away until such time it becomes a little more tenable. Maybe get our folks in. And right now we are responding in, and we are escorted in by law enforcement. We also have some National Guardsmen with us tonight, and they establish a small perimeter for us to function in, and that's a key piece of this. And if we get in where there's just a number of projectiles and rocks and those such things thrown at us, it makes it very difficult to establish some type of perimeter to start and maintain safety.
I'm sorry, Chief. So where is this perimeter that you're saying the National Guard has established? Where are they?
Where are they? Where are they?
They're going to either National Guardmen guard personnel will escort the firefighters in, and/or if they're not with us, then the Minneapolis Police Department will escort the crews in and establish a small perimeter. And I'm talking about maybe the size of an intersection, so we can at least get our vehicles in there and hooked to fire hydrants and start, applying water to the fires. And that's the challenging part. There are so many people down there, and a lot of them have the feel that they do throw rocks and other things at us, and it becomes a real safety issue for us.
Well, Chief, we're sorry that happens because no one wants to see that happen to a public servant, especially someone on their way to put out a fire. But I just want to be really clear. That is your plan moving forward, is to try to get the guard to set up the perimeter. That isn't something you've tried yet. You tried going in on your own, and they threw rocks, and you had to pull back. But So I guess we're trying to get to, if the guard was called on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and now it's 12:20 on Friday morning, when do you make the try, and has a try been made, and when do you make the try?
Yeah, I'm going to.
When they feel it's safe enough, then they'll do it.
Asking for an assessment probably every half hour or so just to see where we're at. I just asked for one. We just did a different location, checking on another
when
situation.
They get their death orders
and I asked for
to go in and kill.
Prior to me leaving, which has been about half hour ago. I will get back to where we've been staged, and I'll ask for another assessment. I may even go over and do a visual myself to see if it's a tenable situation. We may be able to get in there. I have not had any visual eyes on that scenario, that situation over there at all. I know that we do have cameras in place, and members of the command staff are watching those cameras as we speak, and so I will rely on their assessment and their visual assessments that they're making, that we can effectively make an attempt to go in and extinguish those fires.
Chief, earlier the city of Minneapolis had tweeted out that they heard some unconfirmed reports that gas lines to that 3rd precinct have been cut and other explosive materials are in the building. How much do you know about that?
I heard the same sort of a report. That is, I have not been able to confirm that at all. I have no knowledge in regard to what may or may not be stored in the 3rd precinct. I did hear they were trying to sever a gas line, and I have no other details in regard to that at all.
Chief, how many National Guard members do you have at your disposal right now to help you?
I believe at the one location I have right now, I believe we have about 34 or 35 guard personnel with us right now tonight.
Really?
And in addition, I also have Minneapolis Police Department also.
That's the reason why.
One of my
they ain't got enough guys.
And what is that? How many police officers do you have?
I just have, I believe, one task force of police officers assisting us. The rest is being handled by the National Guard.
Is it your call on whether to go in and set up the perimeter, or is that something that is the mayor involved in talking to you about that, or is
the governor?
Is Chief Arredondo?
No, we'll just make, especially when it comes to the fire scenario, that'll be our call. We'll go in if we can safely go in and like the fire I had earlier tonight, I was the first one there. I didn't have any fire trucks. I knew the fire was there. I pulled up right in front of the building, and I didn't have a perimeter. I didn't have any law enforcement. I had nobody with me. I just made the assumption or the assessment that we could get it in. I called the task force in, and we just set up, and then law enforcement came and helped establish that perimeter to protect that perimeter for us to function, and that's how we operated. So we'll make an assessment. If we can win, I can assure you we're going to go in and try to put those out. That's for sure.
Is 34 Guard members enough? I'm looking at a crowd that looks like it's several hundred, if not 1,000 or more.
Yeah, that's always, and that's, there again, so it's 34 guardsmen and their vehicles. And so that the vehicle always can block an intersection to limit vehicular traffic in and over our fire hoses.
So they just got to rolling out a whole bunch of
for now, we will certainly
police officers and cars.
An effective perimeter with that. We can also have the option to call in additional support if we need to.
Where would you call the additional support from?
We are, when I say I'll send them to task force, I wouldn't send in all 34 guards personnel. They've been assigned to a different number. We have a certain number assigned to each of our task forces that we have established right now, and so we just asked for another task force to come in, which would include some additional security personnel or perimeter personnel for us.
Chief, are you hearing from other cities, other states, other fire departments in other states who want to come out and help? Because I know that does happen a lot when they see a situation like this going on.
Yeah, I've talked to a number of folks. I've certainly been in close contact with our very good partners in St. Paul, and they're facing the same situations we are.
Really?
They are strapped for the personnel as well as we are, and trying to be deal with all the situations and the fire scenarios that they have going on in St. Paul. And I just spoke to them about an hour and a half ago, and so we certainly are sharing information, and they're having the same challenges that we are over here in Minneapolis.
And the challenge is safety, rocks, projectiles, inability to get in. The thing that I'm trying to connect the dots on is the governor said he was sending activating 500 National Guard members earlier today. And now I'm thinking if this is a police station's been overrun, is on fire along with another quarter of a city block.
That they would have been had some.
I guess the thing I'm trying to connect is why don't you have more than 34 National Guard members?
Yeah, and I guess that's all it's been assigned to us. I don't know how many are supporting law enforcement. I have no knowledge that. I can only speak to what I have assigned to the fire department. So it's a combination. I'm certainly grateful that I have them. I'm thankful that I have the support because we certainly need it.
All right, so that's to protect y'all, but it's not to actually go in and actually set up a perimeter.
We can get through this and get these fires extinguished.
Yeah, we know you want to do that. Well, what can we do to help? What message is there that you want people to know right now that they could be of help to you?
Need more troops.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, just be very.
And that's what they're gonna get to. Watch.
If they see something, call and make sure that they, call 911. And even though 911 has been inundated with phone calls, also be very vigilant. Take care. If you don't need to be in the areas, please don't go in the areas. It just isn't safe. And I would just hope people would just start to.
Here's some more video footage of what's going on here in Minnesota, not here in Detroit, but in Minnesota. What's going on concerning the riots?
Another night of devastation for the Twin Cities. Protesters and demonstrations over the death of George Floyd has spread metro-wide. Minneapolis Police Precinct 3 up in flames as demonstrators made their way inside. Buildings in the surrounding area also torched as emotions fly high. The images coming in overnight are heartbreaking. Our city is burning down. Protests getting completely out of control, spreading to different parts of the metro.
Now this is going to usher in martial law.
70 businesses. The violent demonstrations getting completely out of hand again overnight. We have reaction from local leaders, national leaders, and people around the country all coming up. The fury ignited by the death of George Floyd, 46 years old. He died while in the custody of Minneapolis police officers. One officer used his knee to press down on Floyd's neck. The officers involved have been fired, but charges have yet to come. We have team coverage this morning of the All
right, a Fox News alert now. Violence escalating overnight in Minneapolis as rioters set the city's 3rd precinct police station on fire in the wake of the death of George Floyd. Here to react is House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Congressman, welcome back. First, your reaction to this.
Other buildings have been burned, including an auto parts store near the police station where the officers worked. Longtime community activist Spike Moss says this is what happens to dreams deferred. Does this violence help?
It doesn't help anything, but it lets you know they're tired. They're tired of being oppressed, being misused, being abused, being murdered at will.
Governor Tim Walz is
there it is.
The Minnesota National
Revelation
Guard
chapter 11, verse 8. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5.
Fired, including Derek Chauvin, one seen on video kneeling on Floyd's neck until he lost consciousness. Those officers are now the subject of several investigations, including by the FBI and the Justice Department. Local prosecutor Michael Freeman will decide if criminal charges should be filed.
We are going to investigate it as expeditiously, as thoroughly, and completely as justice demands.
I bet you will.
Sometimes that takes a little time, and we ask people to be patient.
Nope.
We have to do this right, and that's what we'll do.
That means y'all gonna try to lie.
The chief apologized for his officers' actions on Monday, but it's hard to tell whether that's going to make a difference out here right now. In fact, behind me, at the police precinct where the 4 fired officers once worked, protesters are still surrounding the building. The building is still under siege. Jeff Gaines, CBS News, Minneapolis.
You see?
And tonight, that police substation is reported to be burning. Protests also happening in other places in the U.S. as well tonight, including New York City.
Tribune in Minnesota saying, state of agony. This as more protests erupt overnight in American cities, the anger growing across the country from New York to Denver to Los Angeles following the death of George Floyd in police custody.
Alex Perez starts us off
You know,
in Minneapolis
what this could
morning
be,
with the very latest.
this could be the touch-off of what we would say, some would say the race riots. Okay, some would say the race riots. Some would say maybe just the people rising up against the establishment. But just like I've been telling people, the time is coming, and now may very well be that time where the people will start to target the police. They start to, that just like here in Detroit. Watch, I will not be surprised if the people start targeting the police, start riding behind the police, shooting out their back windows, giving them a pit maneuver, and start going up inside these police stations and just overrunning them, because this could very well be the vehicle to usher in martial law all over America. Because of this incident started here. So all it takes is for the people to get tired. Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, and here it is, they kill our people and leave our people's bodies laying slain in the streets of the great city. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. And when they go to court, they are found not guilty. They are found not guilty. And so the time has come. The people is rising up, and we do give thanks to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and we pray for the downfall and the destruction of this Edomite kingdom. The time is now, and this is what must be done in order that the kingdom must come. Shalom. This is Mashaba, Yah Mashaba. Kwam Ashiala. Shalom.